Hello and welcome to this edition of Dealing with Brightspace. Today we're going to be dealing with assignments. Now, assignments are the type of assessment that we use in online teaching to collect an artifact. It's to actually have the student upload something, a document or a picture or a slideshow or something that they're going to send to us as a file. That distinguishes it from quizzes where they actually type in the answer right into the interface. In assignments, we're actually expecting them to do something outside of Brightspace and then send it to us as an attachment. If you are simply asking questions and you want them to write answers to those, the better tool is actually the quizzes tool. Whereas for assignments, we can have expectations like file formatting, we can have images, presentations, all kinds of, depending on the proprietary of your software, you could have people sending up 3D prints, you can have whatever it is that you want them to send. It's really specific to files. And so a lot of the time, that's the way that we have our students represent their work. So let's go to Brightspace and let's see how easy it is to create an assignment. So here we are in my sandbox, and to create an assignment, we go to the Assignments pull-down menu, and we select Assignments. Right now, there are no assignments in this class. So I can create a new assignment by clicking the New Assignment button. And this brings me to an interface that allows me to create the assignment and all the settings associated with it. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to call this Chapter 1 Assignment. In this box, I can place instructions, I can do a little video, I can do links. You can make this as elegant as you want. You can also add attachments, record audio, record video, all kinds of ways in which you can provide very clear expectations as to what it is that you want students to do. As we scroll down here, we have the option to make this an individual assignment or a group assignment and then create a group for a group of students to be able to complete this assignment. In submission types, here we have file submission, which I've already talked about. We can have text submission if you want people to write in the box, on paper submission, and observed in person. And those are ways in which we can have students demonstrate their learning. Files allowed per submission. Do you want just one? Do you want two? Or one or unlimited? All submissions are kept or only the most recent. So if students actually went in and they want to resubmit, it deletes the old one. Do you want a notification email sent to you when something gets submitted? You can create categories of your assignments. Now this is different than categories that we're going to have in the gradebook. The categories in the gradebook are for weighted items, like say you want all of your reflection journals to be grouped together. That would be a graded category. This is actually a way for you to internally organize different kinds of assignments that you would have in your class. You see here that you want to score out of whatever, 10 points or 100 points, depending on what scale you're using. And then here, right off, you have the ability to create that graded item in the gradebook. Keeping in mind that just like the quizzes and the discussions, we may intend to have these things graded, but unless we actually create the column within the gradebook, then there's going to be no gradebook item there. You can go back and fix this, but way better at this point of creation to be able to actually add the graded item to the gradebook itself. You can create a rubric, or if you've already created rubrics, you can add it to there. And you can allow users to add this to their e-portfolio. You can hide names during assessment, all these other settings. The next column here of settings is restrictions. And under restrictions is where we're going to see first right now, until I check this little box, this item is hidden, so I'm going to make it available. I'm going to set a due date for the 28th, and I'll set a time here, end of day. You can set the availability. Now, availability is whether they can see it or not. It's not the due date. The due date is when they can no longer submit any documents. The availability date is whatever the start date and end date is, when that item will appear and they'll be able to interact with it. I tend to not use this tool very often. I like having all of my items available right from day one, even though I may strongly suggest that individuals do not work ahead sometimes, depending on the nature of the assignment. Here we can also have a condition release and special access for individuals, let's say with disabilities or something like that. So back to properties. Here we have given a name. Let's just put some blah in there for the instructions. I want this to be scored 10 points. I hit the new grade item here. That brings a little interface here. I want it a numeric grade. And this was going to be Chapter 1 assignment. And I just write that again. And here is where you would select the category within your gradebook. And I have the category of assignments, so I want that in my assignments category. I'm actually going to change that to 100 points. And then here's that availability and hide from users and stuff like that. That refers to the gradebook itself, whether they can see the grades or not. I press save and change this to 100 here because I changed the score, and I believe I'm ready to go. I save and close, and here we have Chapter 1 assignment in my list of assignments. Now at this point, I have not taken that. That assignment is simply sitting in the assignments list. I will later take these and put them into my Chapter 1 folder on the content page so that everything related to Chapter 1 is in that folder. So I'll have a quiz, I'll have an assignment, and I'll have a discussion. So that is how you create an assignment. Your creativity is right there, that box. You can do all the instructions, your grading rubric that you can dynamically create, or you can create those ahead of time and add them to assignments. Make sure that you do that piece where you're adding it to the grade book so that there is a place, so when you grade the actual assignment, it has a place to go in the grade book. And that is how to build an assignment in Brightspace.